Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by unified welterweight champion Natasha Jonas for our review of your 2024. How's it going, Tash?
Good, all good.
So it's
What have
been
you
an
got for me?
interesting year. You got out twice, but once in January, once in December, so at the very ends of the year. What's that been like for you? Because that obviously means a long period of inactivity in the middle.
Yeah, it was a frustrating year. I'm not going to lie. We had all intentions and you know of getting out and being active, and it just didn't turn out like that for whatever reason. You know, I'm still one of them people that I stay in the gym, I stay ready, and I keep myself ticking over. But it's hard to keep doing that for 11 months with no fight date. And I was given a March fight date, then a June fight date, then August fight date, then a September fight date, November fight date, and then finally December 7th or 14th. So, it's just been a long, hard year, but we got the two fights. And yeah, I was just happy to be out again.
Does your age have any impact on the frustration when you're not getting the fights? Because they say as you get older, you want to be more active, like the enemy of the aging fight is inactivity. But also, you might have in your mind you've only got a set amount of fights left, and you don't want to waste that time.
Yeah, it's definitely the latter. I mean, camp's always going to be hard, and you're always going to push yourself. You're always going to come up against niggles and stuff. But I think I've still got the camps in my body, the mental side, the mental aspect of keeping on training with no state in sight. That was the hard bit. Your body can do anything. Your mind's just got to be with it. So yeah, I think it was that more than anything.
And the January fight, the first of 2024, was against Mikaela. Gripping fight. I think most people who watched it must have enjoyed it. What were your reflections on it now, 11 months further down the line?
Yeah, I know there was a lot of controversy over the scoring. So I did actually. It's very rare that I watch myself back, but I did actually watch it back. And I do believe that I win by 2 rounds. Um, I know people will argue and say whatever, but yeah, I genuinely believe that I won by 2 rounds. It was a close fight. I can see why some people would give it like a different rounds. I can see why it was maybe difficult as well for judges to score. But again, it was one of them things where I think 3-0 up after three, and I start switching off, and I just let it come back into it, and then have to pull it back together at the end. So it's something that yeah, I have definitely worked on about staying focused, staying alert, and keep my concentration levels high.
Is it at all the occasion, or do you ever do that in sparring as well if it's a little bit too comfortable?
I honestly don't know what it is. It is. I don't. It's definitely not the occasion. I've been in big, massive occasions and huge pressure, and I have stayed focused. So it's just something that Sorry,
That's all right.
it's just something that just happens.
Fair enough. Were you surprised by the amount of people that were talking about the scoring afterwards? Like when you were in there getting the result announced at the time, did you anticipate there'd be this kind of backlash?
No, not at all. When I sit there and listen to Joe in the corner, I 100% believe. I know sometimes he'll say things to make me stay concentrated, but when it's a close fight and he's giving me serious scores like with Katie, like with Harper, then I 100% believe what he said. And at the end, he had me two up, and I was thinking, yeah, like when I watch it back, I probably agree with Joe scoring. So yeah, I was a little bit. I was a little bit. I didn't see that until a couple like days later when I went onto social media, and I was like, oh, okay, that's what people are saying, and that's why I tried so hard to get the rematch done, because I believed I could do it better and not have them switch offs and win more convincingly and kind of put it to bed, kind of thing.
And you really wanted that rematch. Michaela seemed to also. What do you think the ultimate reason was why it didn't get done?
I think there was I had agreed all my terms. It was quite evident BOXXER weren't going to get it done. So I had agreed all terms to go to do it with Top Rank.
Hmm.
I think Top Rank thought that the fight's a bigger fight here in the UK. So they then done something like a side deal with Queensbury and
Mm.
wanted it on a Queensbury show, I think on the 31st of August. And between Queensbury, BOXXER, and Top Rank, when it came to actually signing the deal off, it just didn't get done. And there was lots of disputes about who was paying what and what the rematch clauses was and stuff like that. So that was ultimately what happened. But yeah, Mikaela was and her team was 100% behind it, and like I'd worked with her team for a very long time to try and get it done.
And ultimately, it seemed to take, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed to take your trainer, Joe Gallagher, speaking out about your inactivity and the treatment you'd received from BOXXER to eventually get you a fight date at the end of the year. Do you think there is a correlation between his vocalization of the frustration you were both feeling and you getting a fight date quite quickly afterwards?
Listen, Joe gets a lot of stick for stuff that he says and does, and everyone goes, "Oh, it's Joe, it's Joe, it's Joe." But ultimately, he gets the action it needs. Every action comes about a reaction, and he doesn't mind playing the baddie to get what he wants. And we ultimately got a fight. So you know,
Well,
I
yeah,
don't know if it's like evil genius that he is, but he got what he wanted. So
I think he'd like that description, to be fair. And then you went back in with Ivana Habazin just last weekend, as we talk now. When you have that long period of frustration, but then you come out with two world titles, welterweight, is there a sense that we're all worked out in the end, or is there still a sense of, well, I've missed however many months of my career, at least one fight?
no, it's definitely. Uh, I try not to focus on the negatives. So I like relief was the only emotion I felt when I knew I was going to actually be fighting before the end of the year, because there was talk about being on the January the 10th show.
Hmm.
I thought I just don't want to have another Christmas, you know, training through Christmas with my little girl and not being able to enjoy Christmas as you could, and the struggle of getting sparring partners in, and all kinds of bugs fly around at this time of year. I'm actually coming down with something now. So yeah, it's just all that you've got to contend with when you're going through a Christmas camp. So yeah, I definitely knew that I didn't want to do that. So it was just relief, and like you say, just take the positives. And yet it was frustrating, but we got it in the end.
We know your first fight of 2025 has already been confirmed, which must be a relief. March the 7th against Lauren Price. What would an ideal boxing wise, an ideal 2025 look like for you?
Yeah, like I say, probably it's a win against Lauren, and then whichever Mikaela Mayer or Katie Taylor fight, and then either way, you're going to end up disputed, and you bow out.
Could it be both?
Now you're pushing it down. Now you're
Well,
pushing
you're starting in
it.
March, so I
No,
mean, you never know.
I know it could be. It could be. Potentially, we'll see. We'll see.
Would you have a preference out of the two? I mean, Katie's obviously the bigger name,
Yeah,
but Michaela, there's that, wanting to right a wrong or perceived wrong.
yeah. Well, I think if we're talking about personally, I think it's the Katie fight that gets me. She's beat me twice. I just want one win, and I believe I'm a better boxer than the last time we fought. And I also believe that the time we fought, we was behind closed doors. It was COVID times, and I believe the fight fans deserve we deserve to have a crowd.
And if you were to get that 2025 you just described, wins over Lauren and then Katie, would you sail off into the sunset? Is that kind of the end goal?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely.
Okay.
I don't believe I've got anything else to prove after.
Yeah, I mean, some would argue you've got nothing to prove now, but something keeps you going in the gym every day.
Yeah, yeah, true.
Probably Joe, to be fair, the evil genius. Tash, I really appreciate it. I'm glad the year ended on a high for you. And yeah, all the best wishes for 2025. Hope it gets even better.
Oh, thank you. Have a good Christmas.
And you, speak to you in the new year. Take care.
See you later. Ta-ra.